With SPU women's basketball coach Mike Simonson. Tough end of the season today for the Falcons, losing 57-50 to Alaska Anchorage in the quarterfinals of the GNAC basketball tournament. Mike, you were down huge in that third quarter. Your kids came back and made a nice run up to make a game out of it late on.
Yeah, I think the fourth quarter was how we hoped the entire game would go going into it. We didn't change much offensively throughout the entire game or defensively. And, that's kind of how we envisioned the game going for 4 quarters. Unfortunately, we really only did it from an offensive standpoint for 1 quarter in the fourth. Defensively, we did guard for 3 quarters, which was really good, but we did have some lapses in the second. It's just a bummer we didn't get the win. This is the worst chalk talk after a game when you're in the locker room. A lot of tears. We've had some amazing seniors that have made their mark on the program. And it's just such a bummer that this is their last game. But there's a lot we can learn from this game going into the offseason, and we have a good group coming back, so that's good.
Did Anchorage do anything different today from those 2 games we played them last month here?
Yeah, you got to give them credit. We offensively, I thought we attacked them very well last time we played them on our back-to-back games that we had back in January. And I thought they did some things that took us out of our rhythm that made it a little bit more difficult to accomplish some of the actions that we were trying to do against them. However, I do believe if you can see past their pressure and their physicality, we could have made a couple more plays that we didn't have. So kudos to Anchorage, though. They were ready to go, and they were prepared to play Seattle Pacific today. I think it's a little bit easier for them that we had to play yesterday. It's a little bit harder to prepare for Anchorage, but that being said, can't take any credit away, even though I said the word easy. They're a really good basketball team, and they're going to have a good chance to go to the NCAA tournament for a reason. And it was a fight today. It was a fight.
It was late in the game. You had 5 seniors out on the court. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that was partly, as we were going down the stretch, I thought the fourth quarter was really, I told the team it was a beautiful quarter of basketball because, it was mostly an upperclassmen group that started the fourth. They made a little run, and what I loved about our fourth quarter is, we were down 25 at one point. And, when you're down that big, it's easy to just look up the scoreboard, all of a sudden become apathetic, all of a sudden, not play with the same intensity. And what happened for us was kind of the exact opposite. We kind of just put our head down, didn't look at the scoreboard as much, and next thing you know, we got to stop and we got a little score. Then we got to stop, and then, we might have got fouled. And we just started having these mini victories, and all of a sudden you looked up and we were down 15, 12. And then we subbed in a younger group, and that younger group came in and they kept that same, and they actually shrunk it down a little bit more. And then our seniors came back and had a really good fight to end. And if I'm a senior in this SPU program, that's what leaving a legacy is, fighting at the very end, your last few minutes on the court, passing the torch to our young kids, and that's what they did tonight. They left their mark in that last few minutes.
Talk about the season as a whole. More wins than you've had in any season here. It was still kind of a crazy season with some interruptions in January, but your kids had some very good games out there, and they were in most games that they played too.
We have 4 core values, and I think one of the most important ones in our program is thankfulness. And I'm so thankful for the year we've had. Mark, I believe now that would be our 18th game of single digits that we've had this year.
That is correct.
And we had 17 close games where we won or lost within single digits, and that's 18 now. I'll tell you what, if you're thankful, you can learn from wins and losses in close games more than any other game. And so what I'm really appreciative of is the opportunity we've had those for all year. And we played the second hardest strength of schedule this past season behind Central Washington. They were number 1 in the region. We were number 2. So playing tough, close games for an entire season, man, we're going to learn from that. We're going to really improve going into this offseason and next year. Now, as I think about our players, to transition your question, as I think about our seniors that left the mark, I look at people like Bailey Brennan and Caprice Boston. They both came back, and Rachel Burke. We have 3 players there in their own right. They came off of injuries and fought their way back to play good basketball for us. 2 knees and 2 shins, and I just can't imagine being 18 to 22 years old and having your identity of basketball being stripped for a year or 6 months or whatever it would be, and to fight back and have the courage to continue to fight. That's what those 3 players had done, and that's why they have a really good legacy. They have showed our players what the work it takes to get on the court, but also the drive that it takes to be a great basketball player, and that's what those 3 have done. And then Abril, obviously, she's graduating as well. She's a player that came from Spain all the way across, and she's the only international player on our roster. How intimidating would that be? I don't think I could go coach in Spain and have Spanish be my second language. I would be very intimidated and scared. I don't think I have the courage to do it. That's what she did. So those elements of hard work, toughness, and courage, those are the imprints that's going to make on our young kids moving forward for sure.
And you bring back a great group next year. It's gotten a lot of good experience this year.
Yeah, I think we have a really strong roster as I think about where the program's headed. I mean, I would say it's an upward trajectory. We're pretty lucky we're going to bring back 2 honorable mention GNAC players. I don't think there's very many teams in the conference that can say that, so that's strong. And then with that, we have a good young nucleus. I love our size. I love our athleticism. I think that stacks up well against the rest of the conference. We just need to fine-tune and get more confident in some of the things that we do, but ultimately, I do believe there's a championship run here at SPU in the future, very soon future. I hope next season for sure.
All right, Coach, thanks so much. Congratulations.
Thanks, Mark.
All right.